Man,
First of all, before I even start, is this episode 10?
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is.
If we
So
say it is, it
digits,
is.
y'all. We
yeah, I'm trying to figure out
so
what's
I don't
going
know
on
if
with
that's
my internet.
yeah.
And now we're just getting awkward.
What is he doing?
Is it always connectivity? But episode 10. We made it. Double digit. Shins and everything going on. We made it. To leadership as a dad for the Broco episode 10. So I'm glad that we have all four of us on here because we're all four dads. And I think that's perfect. So welcome to episode 10. Double digits, baby, of the Broco podcast. That's the one. All right. Y'all help me out because I'm fumbling over my words already. Leadership. How's y'all's day been, first of all?
Challenging. Character building. Character building. That's it, right?
Character. Also,
Yeah,
So
I think character building defines just the season of life I'm in right now. Yeah, and it's like, it's funny. I've been trying to like put my finger on what it is. And it's really dumb that tonight's topic is leadership as a dad, because I feel like a lot of it is just me and like the headspace I'm in. So you talk about like leadership as a dad, man. I think it really stems from habits and really buckling down. Like my wife and I have been really trying to buckle down on habits and like dealing with the stuff that is going to sustain, like give us longevity, both in our business and our parenting, right? Like it's going to keep us aligned as a couple. But yeah, dude, it's like there are things in my life right now that I'm like, I have to keep reminding myself, is this a good example? Right? It's like doom scrolling on social media. Is it a good example? No, stop. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's little stuff, like it's like nothing, there's nothing bad, right? But it's all the little things. And I watched this video while I was doom scrolling. And I do find some good stuff while I'm out there. Like today I was watching one and it was talking about like get off your phone. And I was like, all right, I just threw my phone down. I was like, cool, got it. But this one in particular, they was like, or it might have been a leader's post last week. It was like if people followed you around for a week, would they know what your goals are? Would your goals be clear to them? And I'm like, if they follow me around externally, yeah. If they follow me around internally, suspect, right? Like it's like, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you have to. Mike, I know you've been in the business long enough to walk through these seasons where it's like, bro, why is this so hard?
literally had a call with Chris Smith today and just shared like, he's like, so what do you think? Blah, here it is, man. Like, thank you for asking. I'm sorry for your, like now you're committed.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it just comes back to belief, man. Belief, and I'm not even like, belief isn't even the issue. It is the staying power that in these seasons when your mind is just like spinning and you're trying to figure out all the things and you're feeling all this pressure to be at a certain place and all this stuff, to just sit back and reflect and go, look at where I started. This is where I am. Right? I've already done a lot more than most. I'm already leading a lot more than most. I just have to refine me so that I can, like, maybe, speaking of leadership as a dad, maybe it's that we haven't raised our lid to a place where we can lead on that next level. I think that's a reality, right? Like the leadership that got us here is not the leadership that's going to take us to the next level, right? And so we got to raise that lid, and then we got to bring those people up with us. And then we got to raise that lid, or ideally it's like raise the lid and then raise them up and then keep raising, right? So we all moving like this. So it is. And when you have that pressure at home and you have that pressure at work and you have that pressure in your business, Like sometimes we just like, man, I just need a minute. But I think the reality is though, it's like, dude, like, do you want to get where you going or not?
I think if you look at it from like John Maxwell's perspective, as a parent, you will always be the lowest level of leader. You will always be a positional leader until that stage of growth happens or that pinnacle moment that shifts things. And Ian had a call.
Mhm.
You know, it's tough, and maybe I don't know. I don't know what your guys' relationship may be with your parents. If your kids have grandparents in their life, we don't have grandmas around in our family anymore, and you see grandpas with the kids, and they know like exactly what to do, and they've got that advice, but it's because they've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's simple to realize that, but like, okay, how do we learn to be the better parents? And this is a question looking in the mirror right now, looking in the camera. Son played a great game Friday night. I didn't go to the game because I knew I had work to do, and being out until like 11 p.m. when I had to be up early on Saturday morning, not a thing. He scored a goal. He scored 2 assists. Would have been cool to drive the 160 miles to go watch the game for an hour and then come back. This is high school, right? Like, this is where we're at. He texts, hey, had a good game. By the way, really hurt my knee pretty bad. And it's like, well, dang, what do you, like, you played so hard. Now do you have a tear? What do we need to do? So navigating that entire thing, invited a friend over, happens to be a doctor, took a look at it. And it's that constant battle of, did you tell her this? Did you tell her that? Like, you should have. It's that give and take. And I really think, like, we just have to go through it. T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, he talks about, like, you have to be bigger than your problem. I think when it comes to these years as a parent, you just have to be, like, the tiniest bit bigger because that problem it's going to continue. But, yeah.
And me being like, I'm on the opposite spectrum from you, right? Like, you got the 15-year-old and I got a 4 and a 2-year-old. And it's like you're juggling that balance between presence and provision.
Yeah.
And my message has been for a while, like, presence over provision. Both are necessary, right? But I think presence is really important. Like, presence is paramount. But I think the problem is we fall into a guilt trap. You know what I mean? Like, the tendency is to fall into like a deep guilt trap. But like you said, being bigger than your problems is being willing to go above and beyond. It's being willing to stand in the face of it and just deal with it, work through it. I was talking to my wife the other day and I was just like, man, like, sometimes the pressure just gets at me. I was real quiet. She wanted to talk about, the thing at the time, and I just didn't have it in me to talk about it. So I was just like, we could talk about it tomorrow. But the beautiful part about that is she was like, okay, cool. We can talk about it tomorrow. And then the next day, the first thing she did was pray with me. You know what I mean? And it kind of reset me and reminded me, all right, man. It's like, it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. It's never that bad.
That's cool.
So,
well, John, you're a teacher. What do you see in the parents that you view as good leaders within your community?
One of the values I see from the parents as being a good leader.
Yeah.
As an educator, I see all sorts of different kinds of kids walk through the doors every day. I see the kids that, come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. I see the kids that you can just tell home life is rough. It's very rough, because they're coming in and they're seeking attention from adults. They're seeking that one teacher that maybe they don't have in their home that can just talk, that they can talk to. I can tell which kids go home to an empty house because mom or dad are trying to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week just to pay the mortgage, keep the lights on, put food on the table. And, I give those parents credit. They're trying to do the best they can for their kids. But it's like what Luther said. I mean, presence is really important, especially as they get older. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle of you two right now. I got an 8 and a 6-year-old. To me, it's the foundational years right now. Like this is the stuff where we're trying to pour in like some really core values, some really things that are hopefully going to sink in and carry over to when they're teenagers, right? Because like when they're 4 and 2, we can still love on them and show them all these things, but it's like it's hard for it to stick at that age, right? Because their brains aren't really developed yet. I mean, it's not. And even at 6 and 8, it's not even really developed. I mean, heck, you can get in mid-20s and your brain's not fully developed. But, this age it scares me a little bit sometimes because I'm like, they're going to remember the things I tell them. They're going to remember the things that I'm teaching them. I mean, these are the things that are going to stick with them and carry with. And unfortunately for myself, my own personal testimony is I have no one to draw from because my dad wasn't in the picture.
Yeah.
My dad left when I was 5. My mom was great. She was that one working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And I was the one going out back by myself because I was the only child playing ball with myself because mom was working to make sure, well, she had to decide that month. Was she paying the car bill or was she buying the groceries? That's just how it was for me growing up. But I respect the heck out of her for doing it. But so it scared me a little bit in this generation. And that's why I love having other dads around me like you guys right now, because I can turn on your experience. Like, Michael, I can hear you talk about how you lead your 15-year-old son. And I'm like, mine's only 8. Tell me about when he was 8, and I can get that because I can't draw on my own personal experiences just because I didn't have it. And I want to make sure I don't mess up my son too bad. I want to try to lead him in a way that's going to, like Luther said, raise that bar just a little bit, like raise that lid. Like, how are we going to get him there? Yeah. I mean, I was going off on a little bit of a tangent there. Going back to the thing about the kids in the classroom, usually you can tell. For me, it's just trying to be there for the kids because some of them really just need people. Some of them really just need some people in their lives. And that's what I try to be. I try to be just that shoulder to talk to or whatever.
There's a piece that you put in there, and the listeners wouldn't know, but we just came off another conversation that we were talking about, like, being able to provide for your family and the work that goes into that. And, I think it's easy to take for granted the benefits of personal growth and personal development because you don't see the immediate result. It's like the gym, 30, 60, 90 days, you probably won't notice a whole lot. Maybe you lose a little bit, you get a little bit more proficient, whatever it may be. Personal growth is the same way. But it's on the parent. There are people out there who figure out how to provide and how to make their time more valuable. That's it. The older that I get, at 44 years old, the more that I realize the actual currency, the currency of life is time. We'll never know how much we're going to get. I found out 2 guys that I've served with had passed away. I found out over the past 2 days. And it's just like, dang, I'm 44 years old. The one was 37. He passed away a couple years ago. Like, I had no idea. And the other one, right around my age, 43, 44. And it's just like, dang, like, did they make an impact? Absolutely. They will continue to make an impact because they built a legacy. We want more than that, right? Like, we want to be able to be here for the memories. My wife and I have a conversation all the time. My goal is to see my great-grandkids, if not my great-great-grandkids. But in order to do that, I need to make my time really, really valuable. Because I need to set the kids up for success. That includes teaching them about money. My son wants to take a job before he comes to work with me. I love it. Go understand what that lifestyle is like. It's going to give you a different perspective. It's going to give you an appreciation. And I've got so much admiration for the people who are willing to put in the 60 to 80 hours a week that's necessary just to put a modest roof over there. It's not modest. It's a roof. And it's a roof that's built with love and compassion.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, for sure.
I want to yes and what you just said because I was reading a book, Nexus Greater Than 2X. I don't know if y'all read that one. I wish I could quote the author's name. It's a phenomenal book, Dan something. But he was talking about, you've heard it said that time is our most valuable asset. But he takes it further. And I've never heard anybody say it like this. He was like, yes, time is a very valuable asset. But he said even more important than our time is our attention. He said it's not just about the time, it's about how you spend it. Are you present in the moment? Are you actually focused on the right things? Are you paying attention to the things that are going to make a legacy? So if we take our time, which is really valuable, right? Oh my gosh. Every time I got to figure out how to, if we take our time that's really valuable and we spend it not paying attention to the things that matter, was the sacrifice to create the time even worth it, right? And that's where that's where I'm convicted right now is it's like, man, like I work fully remote. I work fully remote. So when it comes with time with the family, like I do get a lot of it. But man, I had to remind myself tonight. My wife was at Bible study. It's me and the kids. We watching Looney Tunes, blah 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 blah. And again, like I said, been fighting these habits, right? And I was like, leave your phone over here and just be present in the moment, because they gonna remember watching cartoons with daddy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they
Like
will.
that's
Yeah,
the
they will.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff. They going like my son wants to wrestle on my head and blah 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 blah. And so many times, like we see these families out, and y'all seen it. We see these families out and they're at the dinner table or whatever, and dad is on his phone completely checked out, and mom's on the phone completely checked out, and the kids are on their phones completely checked out, and they're having family time, but ain't nobody present. It's like, so yes, time, 100% time is a valuable asset, but how you use it, how you spend it is even more important, and something that as leaders of our families we really have to think about. Are we physically present, or are we actually present? Because there is a difference.
There sure is. I had someone, actually a leader on one of our team calls the other day. She was bringing the fire. She was bringing the heat. And she was like, this business is going to allow all the things you talked about. It's going to allow more time with family. It's going to allow more opportunity. But if we're not engaged, like you said, if we're not present, and then they challenge us, they're like, when you're working your business, be 100% into your business. Be
Mm-hmm.
fully there. Be fully engaged. But when it's family time, be 100% engaged with your family. Be 100% there. Don't be like 75% there and then checking your phone real quick because you get a little message here and there. It's like, that can wait. Because like you said, kids are going to remember the time you spent with them more than that one potential client you might bring in from that one check message. So it's something I try to, especially in this season of life, as business is getting bigger, which is great. Business is great. I love that. But it also means more opportunity for me to check out and to not lead the way that I should. So being present is needed.
Oh yeah, that's
And that might be
100% a
internet being
trap.
wonky. Who knows?
No, that's 100% a trap, right? Like you create this time, and then okay, we lost John too.
Oh, his internet is being wonky.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
there were two.
And then there were two. But yeah, man, like we create this time, and then if we're not careful, bro, like we'll just blow it. It's like money. Like the people like, if I had more money, it would fix all my problems. And then people get more money, and they still have the same problems that they had. It's the same way with time. Well, if I had more time, it fixed my problems, and they have more time, and then I'm living that out right now. I legit living it out right now.
Money, more problems.
Yeah, more time, more problems. Like that's what I'm legit.
Yeah.
Because you create this environment where you have more time and you have space for more things. And the question is, what are you filling it with? Yeah, I mean, it's like, don't fill it with doom scrolling. In complete transparency, bro. Like I get caught up in watching videos, and it's like, bro, like that was 15 minutes you could have spent on professional development or personal development. Or, I'm like, my son taking a nap, like that's 15 minutes you could be working.
Yeah. Then when he's
You know?
awake, now you're going to have that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this topic, leading as a dad, bro, it's like, and like, what example are you setting? Because if your kids are watching you do that, you can't get mad at them when they do it.
Yeah.
in my Bible reading this morning, I texted my friends this. It was a story. You had Rahab, the prostitute, the Canaanite prostitute, right? And she, you know, the spies go to her and she hides the spies, and she says she makes the spies promise, hey, when y'all invade, please make sure that you know, spare me and my family. And they're like, hey, as long as you keep your promise, we're gonna keep ours. Right? And so because of her faith, her entire family was spared. And so then the Israelites go in, and the command was destroy all their stuff. Any plunder is for the Lord. These were the first fruits of the promised land. So any plunder was for the Lord. Don't hold anything for yourself. Give it to God, and He'll provide. And this cat named Achan, I think is how you say it. He goes in. He's part of the Israelites. He goes in. He finds some plunder, and he takes it for himself, and he hides it. Right. And then, so the Lord, it's like the anger of the Lord is burning against Israel. They're trying to figure out what's going on. And Achan has to come forward. He's like, hey, I'm sorry. You know, they actually found it. He said, it was me. I took some plunder. I took some gold. I took some silver. I buried it in my tent. It's in my tent. And so they go to the tent. They find the plunder, because it's this complete juxtaposition. Because of his lack of obedience, he's not just punished, but his whole family has to go down with him, right? And so you have this picture of this Canaanite prostitute who is faithful and obedient, and her family is saved. And then you have this picture of this Israelite who is supposed to be a part of God's people being disobedient, and his whole family is destroyed, right? And one is a beautiful picture of, right, like God's love is for everybody. But two, it's a picture of our faith as parents, our faith specifically as fathers has generational impact. Our leadership as fathers has generational impact, because this father decided that he was going to be disobedient. It cost his family's lives. And I think like that's something we have to pay attention to, right? Like our disobedience, our procrastination, our lack of attention, our bad habits, like those things have generational impact.
You know what, man? Like, if you close right there, if we close right there, that's it. That's it, man.
Yeah, dude.
I tell you, like, yeah, make the decisions like your sons and daughters are going to live on them, or die on them. You know,
or die on them.
not to be morbid, but yeah, like,
No, it's
that's
real
it.
though.
That's it.
Yeah, it's real though.
Yeah,
We gotta step up. It's time to step up, fellas.
I like it. Well, that's about a half hour. I know, John, it's good to see you again. Welcome back.
Now we can't hear him.
And Ian's on a call. I think that's a sign. Hey, we made it to number 10. Congratulations. That's beyond where most podcasts ever go, and we've still got 42 left to go this year alone.
Let's do it.
I'm here for it. All right. Hey, you
All right,
guys
y'all.
be well. Appreciate it.
Really good.
See you guys soon.